Hello, everyone, and welcome to Burn the Ship, the podcast that helps entrepreneurs go all in on their business, and we introduce them to professionals that can help them to do so. Today, we have a very special guest. Sean, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you.
Excellent, excellent. We truly do appreciate you coming on the show. Tell us your full name and the name of your business.
I am Sean Thompson. I'm with Minting Moments Medallions.
Okay, excellent. We definitely appreciate you coming on today, Sean. And we understand that time is one of our most valuable resources. So we're going to go ahead and jump into things. Tell us a little bit about your journey, Sean.
Well, my journey started on its current path, probably when I went in the military. Helped to set me straight. Wasn't fully there, though. Took a few years after being in the military to really hit that stride and find that passion for growing and learning, primarily about finances at the time, and then just dabbling in various hobbies over the years, trying to find something to make a business out of, and finally landed on these.
On some medallions. Now, tell us a little bit about your military service. Which branch did you serve?
I was in the Army as a Apache helicopter electrical and weapons technician.
Okay.
So anything with a wire or a weapon, I maintained and kept them flying.
Okay, that was Fort Benning, Fort Moore, which?
Fort Hood.
Fort
Texas.
Hood, Texas. Okay. That's a good deal. How long did you serve?
6 years.
Awesome, man. We truly do appreciate that. I was just boasting about our military this morning at a networking event, and I was sharing with everyone how important it is to understand the reason why we can walk around and do what we do is because we're so strong when it comes to the military. So I truly do appreciate that. Now, inside of the military, I know you said you were servicing the wires, the weapons. You got a crazy story you can tell us about what happened, one of those stories in the military?
Yeah, probably the most entertaining one would be while I spent 1 year in Iraq and 1 year in Korea. And while we were in Iraq, we had one helicopter that took 28 bullet holes and still made it back.
Okay.
They lost the right-hand engine, lost their hydraulics, the feed for their gun jammed. They had no weapons. They were working on emergency hydraulics to get back, and they did make it back, though.
Okay.
And it took a long time, but we got the helicopter fixed up and flying again.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. If something takes 28 bullets, which I'm sure they're just regular bullets, I didn't know if you could repair that, or do you got to start all the way over?
It depends on what the system is. Like if it takes a hit to the engine, just replace the engine, or particular parts on the engine, or for the chain feed on the gun, just replace the hardware and the chains for that. Things like that. One large wire bundle got hit, and so there was a whole bunch of splayed wires. Find which end. Find the wires that go together, splice them back together.
Yeah.
Long process, but it can happen.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. With you being in the military, that's one of the best educational systems that you can have. While you were in there, did you guys have to have like a continuing education, or was it one specific thing, you focused on that thing and that's the thing that you did, or were you guys always learning?
They had options for college. The military is very good at paying for your colleges, tuition assistances and stuff like that. I personally didn't take advantage of that at the time. And so they had continuing education available. I just didn't do that.
Okay. I was talking about how you're on your machines, your helicopters. Yeah. Because you guys came out with a new one ever so often, or you just were on the that Apache only?
If I had stayed in for a full career, probably would have seen some changes, but being in 6 years, it was really just the one helicopter, the Delta model particularly, the one with the
That's good.
The one with the big dome on top.
Yes. Okay.
So that basically is a radar where you can peek that up over a mountaintop, see what's on the other side of the mountain. Feed that into your weapons, and then you can fire over the mountain. That's what that does. So
I'll tell you,
combination of systems, that was the particular model I worked on.
Yeah, that technology is amazing. And It's awesome. I'm glad you know how to do that, man. With it, I can tell, and I wanted to go deeper into that because that is a huge foundation of who you are. Mm-hmm. And as you are creating these medallions, you can tell how you know how to fix things with your hands, you know how to make them go. And I want you to tell us all about it. You said that you were trying to figure it out and then you landed on the medallions. Tell us a little bit about what made you go all in on the medallions.
Well, telling all about it I don't think we have the time for that. But the idea, like I said, I was playing around with various hobbies over the years, things like making chainmail, building boats, various things from left field to right field. Mm-hmm. And it was late 2022, November 2022, when I first had the idea to create medallions. Mm-hmm. I was involved in some crypto communities very well, and I wanted some way to give back to them, and I felt that physical coins of their logos and their products would be a great way to give back to each of their communities. Mm-hmm. Initially, looking online, I didn't... there were people who could make custom metal 3D printing or stuff like that, mm-hmm. but it was not very affordable.
Okay.
So then a couple months later in January of 2023, it would have been, I decided to, just go ahead and do it myself.
Okay.
And the typical thought, how hard could it be?
Right.
2 years later, I now know how hard it could be.
Yes.
So yeah, that's what the original thought of starting
getting into it. Mm-hmm. So as you have been doing it for a little while now, tell us a little bit about your clients. Who would you say is an ideal client for you? And tell us a little bit about one of the last things that you created for a client.
The ideal client for us would be businesses. Primarily, we're B2B with a focus on that business providing gifts or rewards to either their employees for something like a promotion or to their customers as a thank you.
Okay.
Maybe some of their top customers would deserve a reward, a thank you for their business. That would be probably the ideal customer for us.
Okay. So say, for instance, like us, if we were to give you our MP, you could put it on there, and then for the holidays, we can send them that as a token of our appreciation. Is that what you mean?
Yes.
Okay. You can scale to whatever type of logo, or does it have to be a specific thing? Tell us about that.
There is limits. I have a few examples here of some, and you can kind of see some of the limits in these. Mm-hmm. The finest bit that I work with generally is a 0.5 millimeter bit.
Okay.
So pretty much anything 0.5 millimeters or larger would be ideal. Hmm. I can go down to a 0.1 I've worked with, but that'll take a bit longer to get the process on that worked out, just because it's such a fine bit. It's very fragile.
Okay.
So typically I work with a 0.5 millimeter, and these themselves are 35 millimeters mm-hmm. round, mm-hmm. and depending on the metal type, you can see that the copper is thicker than the silver just because of the difference in mass. These are all 2.5 ounces. Okay. And so they come in about 7 millimeters to 10 millimeters thick.
Okay.
So whatever logo you could fit into about a 35 millimeter round, mm-hmm. The logo here, Burn the Ship, would be perfect to put on one of these.
Okay.
And then in early 2025, mid 2025, I plan on opening up to square plates and also rectangular plates of a business card size, roughly.
Okay, I see what you mean. Now, if we were to say, because I'm trying to figure out the process, because it is new to me, mm-hmm. and if you're milling this piece, how long would you say it takes to make one? How long does that take?
Roughly 10 hours per. Okay. Depending on the design, more complex ones would take more time. I try to keep the cutting time less than 20 hours.
Okay.
The design time really is what takes the longest. If it's a relatively simple design that I can just pop out, like the Burn the Ship's logo here, mm-hmm. that could be done within an hour or two and then off to the cutting.
Okay.
But if it's a custom sculpted, like an animal per se, mm-hmm. that would take a much longer amount of time.
A little bit longer than that.
That does depend. But once the design is done, it's done. Mm-hmm. And if you wanted more of that same kind,
the mold's
send it straight
already made.
Well, actually, there's no mold.
Okay.
So how it starts is as a blank billet. Mm-hmm. I cast my own metals, and I have a billet mold, and it starts off with a peg on the back so that I can mm-hmm. align it into the machine, mm-hmm. and then from there I mill the top flat, and that gives me the flat surface to start from, cut the design down,
okay.
then flip it over, mill the back down to the right weight because they cast heavy.
Oh, yes.
Also, the complexity of the designs, smaller designs, larger designs, change the weight. And so because I want that perfect 2.5 ounce weight,
Makes sense.
flip it over, mill it down to the right weight, polish up the sides, stamp it with customization if you like, and then I spray it with a lacquer coating to protect the shine of the metal. It doesn't tarnish or rust, and that leaves you with this.
Okay. Now, I definitely appreciate you explaining the process. Like I said, I've never been through it, so that's why I have so many questions about it. Last question, dealing with the medallions. What would you say is the most meaningful or your favorite medallion that you've made so far?
My favorite medallion so far would have to be this wolf one.
Okay. Tell us about it.
It's a faceted wolf. I designed it myself. Basically, just take a wolf image and just started throwing it together. And I really do love how it reflects the lights, very much like a diamond would.
Yes.
And that is exactly what I was going for. So, yeah, the wolf design, particularly in silver, would have to be my favorite.
That's a good deal, man. Definitely appreciate you sharing the process. And as a business owner and being in the military, there are plenty of skills that I'm sure that over time you have acquired and you have nurtured that has helped in your journey and helped you to get along in your business. Do you mind taking a couple minutes and sharing with us a couple of those skills that some of the entrepreneurs that are watching today can add to their bag?
Sure. Off the top of my head, it's quite a few skills that I could list, but particularly I would say perseverance.
Okay.
Knowing that anything is possible. If there's anybody out in the world doing what you're thinking of doing, you can too. You just have to research it, learn it, and then do it. Perseverance. It's been a 2-year journey since coming up with the idea to make these and then actually learning how to do it, because prior to that, I had never touched a CNC machine. I didn't have any idea what I was doing. The machines I have are quite small compared to the typical industrial machine. So along with that was learning how to modify the machines to be stronger, to do what I am now doing with them.
Okay.
But through all that is just perseverance.
Okay.
2-year journey with a lot of money invested into it to end up at the result that I am now happy with. So perseverance would have to be the key.
That's a good deal. I've always said it's important to not quit. You know, that's what happens. We're all going to come across different, objections. We're going to come across all types of things that are looking to stop us from moving forward. But the journey's never over unless you quit. So, anyone listening to Sean today has a very big point. If you got an idea, you feel your idea, go ahead and push through and make it come true. So I definitely appreciate you sharing that tidbit. Now, as far as with what you've done in the military, we know you've been out there helping to protect us, fixing those big boy machines. Now you are milling these medallions. Let's just say that now you've sold all the medallions that take care of all your responsibilities, and you can go spend some time for yourself. Tell us, what would Sean do with this time if he had some back?
2 things would be travel the world and see where else I can help.
Okay. Did you have a particular place that you wanted to go to next on your list?
Iceland, actually.
Iceland?
Yeah.
Okay.
Reykjavik, specifically.
Okay. Now tell us about that and why you want to choose that particular place.
I was first introduced to Iceland in general. I used to play a game, EVE Online.
Okay.
And their headquarters is in Reykjavik, Iceland.
Okay. And what is that game? It's like a fighting game?
Spaceships flying around. It's called an MMO, massively multiplayer online game. So it's thousands and thousands of people just flying around this galaxy, different solar systems, living their life.
Okay. That's awesome. You want to go to the source? You're going to try to go to their shop or something like that?
Well, that was the idea originally. Each year they have a fan fest where they throw a massive party at their headquarters, and that was my original inspiration to go to Iceland. But as I was learning about Iceland, you learn that it's basically a glacier on one side of the island and a volcano on the other. It's beautiful scenery from left to right everywhere you go there. And I personally enjoy all of the northern areas. So
Mm-hmm.
the farther away I can get from civilization, the happier I am type
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, yeah.
So now I would just like to visit to see the scenery.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, that's a good deal. We definitely appreciate you sharing that part of yourself, because for everyone that's watching today, we understand that we have to, do these business things. We got to sell these things, whatever those things are, to live our life, but we do it to have a life. So I definitely appreciate you sharing that nugget about yourself. Now, Sean, the people that are watching today, if they wanted to learn more about how they can get a medallion, or if they can learn more about the skills that you shared with us today, what's the best way for them to get in contact with you?
Easiest ways to get a hold of me would be either by email, mintingmomentscoins@gmail.com, that's plural, and then, or the Etsy webpage, which is also where individuals could just go order their own coins if they'd like. I have a whole bunch of designs there. That's mintingmoments.etsy.com.
Okay.
So those two ways would be the easiest ways to get hold of me.
That's a good deal, man. We truly do appreciate all that you've shared with us today, and it's been a pleasure having you in the studio. And we always try to honor our guests by giving them the last word. Can you please look over there at your camera and share something good with the people?
Yeah, I was trying to think of something good throughout the podcast. Really, it just comes back to the perseverance. What you were saying, you only quit, or you only lose when you quit. So, or you only fail when you quit. So, yeah, just whatever you're passionate about, find a way to make it work. If there's anybody else in the world doing it, you can too. You just have to learn and make it happen. It might take a lot longer than you think, but if you keep pushing through, it'll happen.
Yeah, definitely appreciate you coming on the show today, Sean. We truly do appreciate you. And to everyone that is watching today, be kind and thanks.